you, Chairperson, sir. And first of all, I would like to thank the organizing team of Diabetes India for giving me this chance to talk about time and in relation to diabetes. So I think so now it is established fact that time is immortal and it has got a very important role. And also in medicine, secret ingredient is the time because it has not been given that particular space which is deserved. And we know that no life without rhythm. And when rhythm is lost, actually life is lost. And every physiological process has a biological rhythm. That rhythm may vary in time. It may vary from 0.0001 second to hours and to days and even to months, lunar, and even to years and season to season. And every particular physiological function is at its ladder at a particular time and it's at peak in another time. So it is the importance of time, and we know that this time has a internal regulation in the form of internal clocks, and these clocks can be central clock and peripheral clock, and central clock normally regulate the peripheral clock. This all we know by virtue of the research which has been started in the animals and now has also been done in the humans. And this circadian term was given by French Helberg, and I'm fortunate that I have worked with him for a few years. Now he's no more, and Franz Halberg was the person who established that the circadian biology is also important in medicine. And we know that in suprachiasmatic nucleus, there are plenty of neurons which are especially excited by the light which comes by retina, and that makes the framework of the rhythm, and that rhythm will be regulated and it pass on to the peripheral clocks, and then every cell of the body except one cell, that is the germinal epithelium. And this retinal connections with the SCN are established one. We know them, and we know that like rods and cones, they are also sensitive to light. And no new thing is that the light does not affect only limited to the SCN, it also affects the other parts of the brain where it reaches via the SCN. We know that by that a lot of clock regulators are there in the form of the hormones, in the form of enzymes, new proteins synthesis. By that it all is regulated, and the total circadian regulation of central and peripheral clock is in various organ system. Central clock is regulating the peripheral organs, and the only particular two is not only light, it is also food, it is also starvation, it is also environment, and it is also sleep. So these all cues also has impact on the peripheral clock, and peripheral clock can be having a different rhythm in relation to that. And this is very important in today's modern life. And on the basis of that, we can say we can have a healthy clock or a disrupted clock when the both central and peripheral clock are not in unison. It is disrupted clock. And we chronobiologists believe that in today's context, every disease has a particular pattern, and it is also having a circuit, that is the time or the rhythm. It is born out of the disrupted rhythm. And this is the known fact that this rhythm can vary when the disrupted because of the modern lifestyle. Then we can have impact on every cell of the body, every organ of the body, every system of the body. Basic metabolic regulators have been studied, and they are various endocrine hormones and transcription regulators, and also the cell autonomous signaling molecules and the various enzymes which are synthesized on the basis of that particular rhythm. On that basis, we also know that hormone secretion, regulation of secretion, and hormone action has a particular rhythm. On that basis, we know certain hormones, their rhythm has been studied in detail, and that is the cortisol, the glutamate, and the melatonin. We know that melatonin secretion starts at the evening when the sun sets, and this is called as slow release of melatonin hormone at dim light. Dim light is responsible for the release, and today's context, the dim light is never there, so the melatonin release is disrupted, and it goes on at 12 midnight or 11 p.m. in the night. Then only secretion starts. The sleep is delayed because of that. Similarly, the other hormones, growth hormones, and the various other hormones, they have a particular rhythm, and every secretion of hormone, their action has got a rhythm, and that works in a particular rhythm. In relation to diabetes, we know that circadian rhythm of blood glucose is already there, and that is basically a circadian central rhythm and the peripheral one because of the various impact factors which are there and they influence the glucose concentration, and we have the different rhythm in different times. And we also know that the major cellular and molecular responses of the various organ systems to intermittent fasting. When we induce that particular physiology, fasting physiology by intermittent fasting, and apply that knowledge to the diabetes mellitus treatment, then we know that it is not related and limited to one particular organ. The effect of intermittent fasting are almost on every system, every cell, or every organ. The circadian dysregulation and fat has also been studied, and we know that emerging evidence are there, both cell based and human studies suggested that the expression of the circadian clock transcription network within adipose tissue may influence both adipogenesis and the relative distribution of the subcutaneous versus the visceral fat. This knowledge becomes very important because now it is not only the calorie intake, it is the time at what time the calories have been taken becomes more important, because they not only carbohydrate, fat, and protein, also at what particular time they have been taken, they will vary, and the distribution of fat may be impacted by that. Night munching. Why it is so bad? Because every night munching will definitely induce the peripheral clock to work, and they will not be in the rhythm of the central clock, and that will disrupt the peripheral clock. And this is the once disruption of the regulation of the rhythm is basic by because of the night munching. The biological rhythm and glycemia has also been studied, and we know that the various molecular clocks are working in that direction, and they very finely tune the particular rhythm of the. And the mechanism lies in the mechanism are not the completely understood, but we know that it is the switching off between the fasting and the prandial physiology which works, and only because of that the behaviors of the different deposition of fat and utilization of the various energy systems also depend upon that. And the particular mechanism, we know that the glucose and the lipids and the blood pressure, body weight, they all have a relationship with the time, and at what time the energy is being taken, at what time is being spending, that also regulates the particular rhythm. And we know that the environment, body adipose genes, and the beta cell dysfunction genes, they all interplay. And the impact is also by the energy expenditure, the calorie intake, the time of intake, and the environmental chemicals and other things which we know. But the microbiome is also there, which we had recently. And then this all can lead to obesity, that menace which we are facing at this time. Not only that, the circadian rhythm and severity of clinical disease is not limited to one particular organ. Michael Snowoski has worked very hard to find out the symptoms of various disease, at what time the systems are at their peak. And this can be applied in the history taking. And by knowing only this, we can identify probable cause of disease or what type of disease we are facing. So this is one which can help in our day-to-day practice of the medicine and diabetes as well. So I think I will end by this. And if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them.